hear me.
7, episode 28. She shoots, he scores. I forget count. If y'all know me, I'm bad with these types of things. But we got Boog, we got Rob in the building. I'm thankful. What's good, everybody?
Am I
Doing
lagging?
well. Friday Eve.
Am I
Friday
lagging?
Eve. All right. Speaking of Friday Eve, let's get into our hot takes. I mean, do the two of you have any hot takes to share with anybody right now?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but make your mic a little bit louder, Boog.
Now?
For me, it's a little difficult to hear everybody because
No, I know you.
sound.
But I'm trying to figure out why I'm lagging too. I'm gonna drop off. I'll come right back. Somebody let me in. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it's like muted. Rob, what you got? Hot takes for us?
My hot take right now is I think the Las Vegas Aces are actually going to be my championship favorite now. Not that the Minnesota Lynx are not, but I think they're on a mission. They are on a mission to showcase why they've won the last two championships. It sounds kind of like an easy answer, folks, but you have to keep in mind this is not the same Las Vegas Aces team we've seen the last 2 years because everybody's been like, oh, they're struggling. They're kind of limping their way into the playoffs. No, they're not because they beat a pretty good Indiana Fever team on Wednesday night. I suspect they'll do the same thing tomorrow night. And Asia Wilson, Alicia Clark, Kelsey Plum, everyone on that team, they're going to play at such a high level. We're going to forget that we said all the negative stuff we said about them. Not me, but like people out there. So I think the Aces are going to be my pick.
Are gonna forget. I'm not gonna forget the people that came from my team. I'm not gonna forget it.
Boog, I can barely hear you, but I feel like you're pointing at me.
No,
I feel like you're pointing at me.
The people. I'm pointing at the people, not at you guys.
The masses.
Okay.
The masses.
Okay. Yeah, a lot. I mean, so I guess we can start here. Let's start talking about your team. Fact or fiction? Asia Wilson will be the first person with multiple 1,000-point seasons in the WNBA. So we're gonna lead off with the best player in the league.
Yes.
There goes Jordan. Look at Jordan.
Can you hear me? Am I louder now or still no?
We got you. I hear you.
Are we live?
Rob can hear you. I cannot hear you, so I'm gonna pretend like I can.
Well,
but I would just say yes.
Else.
So
And I can't hear you. It's because of the music, y'all. It's because of the music. I got music behind me. They pump the pregame sound before everything.
Hey, Jordan.
So we're going fact or fiction. Asia Wilson will be the first person with multiple 1,000-point seasons in the WNBA.
Oh, yes.
Fact.
I'm gonna let
Fact.
you.
Fact. That's a fact, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think so too. I absolutely think so too, y'all.
She's gonna hit 1,000 sitting out a game. So, and like well over 1,000 by the time she's done.
That's just 25 a game, right?
Well,
It is
she's
25.
44. Yeah, she's gonna get it. What? Not maybe. I'm not gonna limit her to any points, but let's say she doesn't hit 40 points this next game. It's just the game after that,
Mm-hmm.
So, and she has what? One more game or two more games after that. So, yeah.
It's crazy.
I feel sad, y'all. Look, I really can't. I can barely hear everybody. I feel really bad right now. Okay, there goes Tasha. There goes. I'm above Corey for my headphones. Corey got my headphones. We got everybody.
Hey, look who's back.
Hey, Tasha. Long time.
It's our girl.
It's so good to be back. How's everybody?
We're doing good. We've missed you.
Good.
How you doing?
Yeah.
It's true.
It's been lonely being the only lady on the.
I know. Don't. We haven't bullied you. Don't worry.
The whole time.
I hope that
No, we didn't.
you, Jay. Have they been bullying you?
No.
Okay. DJ a little bit, but everybody else has been okay.
Okay.
If y'all are calling me, I can't hear y'all.
Probably for the best, DJ.
But just,
Probably for the best that you didn't hear anything that we just said.
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right. I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna listen to it and play back.
Yep.
I'm gonna listen to it and play back. Oh, I'm looking at Satu warming up right now. She again. The Dallas Wings they lost this game, but it'll be interesting to see what they do moving forward. But yeah, I asked everybody if Asia Wilson was going to be the first person to score multiple 1,000-point seasons in the league, and I'm assuming everybody unanimously is saying yes. So I guess I'm gonna move on to the next segment, which is about Kathy Engelbert. All right, so we heard the controversial comments. I'm gonna read this by Julia Poe. Commissioner WNBA Kathy Engelbert failed players by not conflating rivalry and racism. I'm tired of anyone acting like this is normal. The racial abuse that Black WNBA players suffer is unique uniquely violent. Ignoring this problem will not make it go away. I agree with that tweet completely. Guys, what are your thoughts on I guess this whole situation? And if I need to play the sound, I will. And I'm gonna go run and find Corey and get my headphones because I want to hear what y'all got to say about this too.
Yeah, so I think
Mute
honestly,
yourself when you leave. So
yeah,
we can hear, so everybody else can be heard.
that's a good idea. No, I was gonna say I definitely think it's a tone deaf response she gave on CNBC about this whole situation, because it's been a troubling situation really since the beginning of the season. Because yeah, it's been great to have Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese's fans come in from college to the W, but I would say more towards Caitlin's fans, not to disrespect Caitlin, but her fans have been pretty, like, if you criticize her or disagree on an opinion about her, people will think you're a hater of Caitlin and they want to go after you. Or if they see a clip of a normal physical play against Caitlin, whether it's Angel or anybody who's played against her, you're suddenly public PE #1, which you shouldn't be. You're in the pros. You're gonna have to expect that the game's going to be physical and tough. But the reaction of the fans, some of them have been really appalling. It's disgusting, and there's no place for it in any professional or even collegiate sports. Like, I have seen Angel come to the defense of Caitlin a lot of times, and I know Caitlin kind of has, but I feel like Angel's been kind of more. How should I say, pretty respectful towards her. And I think we talked about this off channel. I didn't like while Kathy Engelbert made it like, oh, it's like Bird and Magic. It is not Bird and Magic. You cannot compare that to what this is all about. So I think that was, in my opinion, and I'm curious to hear what everyone else has to say, I didn't like that she was like, yeah, it's like Bird and Magic. No, it's not. It is not. They didn't have to deal with social media. They didn't have to deal with instant reactions with the negative viral toll that honestly these young women don't have to endure, especially Angel. And I'm going to say just especially Angel, because as people of color, it's tough, especially for, Black women to try to get the respect that white women get to enjoy. I'm not trying to make it about race, but I'm going to. Black women and people, like women of people of color, have it really tough. I'm not trying to be a hater on Caitlin. I'm just speaking of fact that they shouldn't have to go through this, but unfortunately it is the case. I'm not a Black woman, but I have friends who are Black women on this show and outside of the show, and I feel like, and I want to hear what they have to say, that this is unfortunate. It's really unfortunate.
It's so crazy that you have to preface what you're saying with, I'm not hating on Caitlin just for talking about this subject, because you already know people are going to be latching on to that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So I didn't like what Kathy said. Like, honestly, I didn't even really know what was going on. I saw the timeline going crazy. Someone sent me the clip for me to look at. I watched it and I was like, I mean, I didn't expect her to say anything different. Like, she hasn't shown anything. I mean, this has been going on since the beginning of the season. So I didn't really see the W speaking up for the players or, saying anything. So I was like, I mean, it's about money. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. That's what she wants. So I get it. I get it, but I expected that. I didn't expect her to step out. And then she started getting backlash. Players speaking out and things like that. And she still didn't say anything, but apparently, and I don't know if her timing was just off, but apparently I know I saw the tweet at 10:30 when she tweeted it, saying after Stewie spoke out at her press conference after their game, she tweeted, I did this interview. I said some things. Let me be clear, pretty much repeating what the WNBA PA had said earlier that day, that they don't stand for that. They welcome the fans, but they don't welcome the racism, the misogyny, the harassment, being homophobic, being discriminatory, the threats. Like, that's not welcome in our sport as far as the WNBA, and we don't appreciate it. It should have been addressed a long time ago, but to know that Kathy doesn't stand with us, pretty much, that she turned that conversation into, but we got corporate sponsors. And I told them to stop looking at their phones. So it was not a huge deal, but our numbers are up, Magic and Larry, like, that wasn't some walk in the park for Magic and Larry when they did that. It wasn't like they were holding, arm in arm, skipping through the, frolicking through the meadows or anything like that. That was a serious situation. And no, they didn't have social media back then. But I mean, these people were, the stuff on social media was happening in real life. Like we're talking about 1979. This wasn't like, and not that I was aware of, being able to see that, but I mean, I know my history and I know how, things weren't the best for us even back in the 70s, you know what I'm saying? So I'm sure that Magic went through and heard a lot of things, seen a lot of things, was threatened a lot, just to his face, not behind a keyboard, to his face. So I don't know why we would take that and be like, yeah, let's recreate that again just so we can get some views for the W. That doesn't, I see the correlation, but I don't. I said, as a manager of people, if I see my people are suffering or being harassed or anything like that, I may not be able to do anything about it. Internet is invisible. You don't know who's saying what. They can say whatever. They won't get tracked. But as a leader, I can say, I hear you. I see you. I stand with you. Let's see what we can do about it. I care about my people that's with me. I want them to know that I stand with them and I'm with them, whether I can do something about it or not. That's the first step. And she didn't do that. So that's what I think about it.
Yeah, it's interesting to me.
Tasha, Jordan, if you want to go. Okay.
Go ahead, Tasha.
Go ahead.
No.
Okay.
Go ahead.
It's interesting to me that this was the first line of resolve. So it tells me a lot about the organization, and it tells me a lot about her. It tells me that it's not a lot of diversity surrounding her intimately, right? And that she is surrounded by people who think like her, who look like her, who maybe share the same thought processes as it relates to what equity looks like, what inclusion looks like. And I think, in my opinion, it showed me clearly that the W needs support with diversity and inclusion. They need additional support in regards to what that actually looks like, what it feels like, who is required to go and why they are required to go. I know she made reference of that Magic and Bird, and it seems like to me that people have forgotten during that time that Bird extended the hand to say, Magic, I know this is happening to you. I am not the same person. My people are not the same person. Come into this space with me and let me introduce you to my people. And we have yet to see that from Clark, right? We have yet to see on that onus. And I earlier in our dissecting of both Caitlin and Angel Reese's time at transition to the WNBA, I made a comment by saying that Angel Reese put on the enemy or the opposer, the antithesis of that good versus evil, like that's who she is as a person, but she took on that so can be the good, right? She's like, okay, me to be the versus evil, and she took on that and bear that as a young person coming into this league, everything else on her shoulder. And it seems like it's a lot for a rookie to bear. Like it's a lot for any person to bear, any Black, any woman to bear in the thought process. And you mute yourself.
It's cut. I don't know, but Jordan, I don't know if it's me, but it's cutting out. So I don't know if
it was cutting out, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was cutting out a little bit.
Okay. All right. I thought I was crazy. Tasha, I didn't know if you were saying to move on to the next person, or I couldn't really hear what you were saying the last part.
Hey, DJ.
Yeah.
Whenever you're not talking, can you mute just because it's loud and we can barely
thank
hear
you, Bug.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying, to mute himself, and then I stopped talking, so it might have looked like cut out. But did I cut out or no?
Well,
yeah, especially when his audio came back on.
Going in and out. Yeah.
Yours
it was
kind of
going in and
laggy
out
on my screen. I can't really hear what you're saying, Tasha. Or is it just me?
Oh, okay. I don't know. Let me adjust, and I'll make my point.
Okay.
Jordan. Go ahead, Jordan.
I mean, I don't really have any original thoughts of my own. I'm kind of in agreement with Boog and Rob and Tasha, I think we're all kind of in agreement, but it does raise a lot of I mean, you can't like change what she said, right? She messed up. It's just wrong. So all it does is just like raise questions in my head, like, what other commissioner can you think of would have made these exact same comments? Would Silver have ever said these things? Would David Stern have ever said these things? Would Rob Manfred or Bettman have said these things? Like, I don't even think Stern would have said these things, bro.
Paul Tagliabue for sure.
He would have said these things, yes. But I mean, to compare yourself to Paul Tagliabue, that's like the worst comparison that I can think of. Like, that's not a compliment, you know. And another thing I thought of was, would she have made these comments if the league was more profitable? Like, maybe she does start verbally protecting Black people, like if the league is making money. Maybe she is just straight up what Boog said. If it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. Whatever it takes to make some money, I don't care about Black people. Like, you know, but if it was profitable, would she have taken a different stance? That's something else I thought of. And also, can you guys think of another player, male, female, Black, white, some other race, that has a sort of cult, like protective treatment of her criticism like Caitlin Clark? Can you think of a certain player? Maybe Shohei Ohtani. That's the only player I could even think of that's so super protective of their player and they can't do anything wrong.
LeBron, maybe LeBron. Maybe
no
LeBron.
way, man. Even LeBron supporters are willing to criticize him quasi objectively, but I don't know. Like, can you guys think of anyone?
Well, I would think honestly.
Maybe Messi might be the only one.
I don't know enough sports people outside of what I watch to know that, but it's crazy.
So what in a reverse way, though? Kind of in a reverse way, Kyle Larson of NASCAR is going through that, and it's unfortunate because he put himself in a bad situation back in 2020 on Easter Sunday when he used the N-word during an iRacing stream, which is a live, like a stream that was showing like sim racing, because we obviously couldn't do any racing during COVID, the onset of it. And he seemed too comfortable saying the N-word. Like that's kind of like a word he uses offhand. I don't think it was in the racist content, but it's certainly not something in my vocabulary when I'm hanging out with friends. I don't go, yo, G word or yo, S word. Like I just say bro or what's up, girl, or something like that. I don't know. I don't do that. But obviously that was a really bad situation for him. But the crappy part is he's pretty much the only successful Asian American race car driver in NASCAR. But I also feel like I wouldn't say it's a protective stance against him, but in a way there is, because beforehand you really couldn't address him as being Asian American, but now you kind of can, and sort of with Bubba Wallace now too. Like when I tried to talk to him about, you know, being one of the only few Black drivers in NASCAR, he just said I wanted to be a race car driver, which I respected, but things kind of changed after the Kyle Larson situation. But in terms of going back to basketball, I don't think I've seen a treatment like this, at least in a long time. So, and it's kind of too bad because there shouldn't be any protection. And in fact, just to kind of preface it to something that happened earlier in the year, I kind of understand why journalists were trying to get Caitlin to talk about this. And the first response wasn't the greatest response. And then DJ and Carrington went after her on social media. And a lot of Caitlin fans were like upset about that. And they were like branding Carrington in such a negative light. But they did not take the time to think about, oh, wait a second. This is a person of color, a Black woman, who is trying to get someone who is going to be a prominent player to have a platform to tell her fans and white fans, yo, slow your roll. Don't talk like that. Don't think of us like that. Like, treat us with respect. And then she kind of finally said something about it, but it's kind of like a half-assed apology, in my opinion. I'm not trying to dismiss or diss Caitlin Clark. I just didn't like that response. It was kind of like, hey, I'm going to make that response because someone really asked me to do it, and DJ called me out on it. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, I mean, but if that's her stance on it, then so be it. I'm not saying that, hey, she needs to support racists, which I don't think she does, or even the commissioner. Now, I'll say this. obviously the commissioner should have said we don't want our athletes being attacked by people.
Right.
Wait, like that should have been the first thing out of her mouth. Hey, we don't want our athletes, period, black, white, Asian, whatever color. We don't want our athletes being attacked by people online and social media. And then I didn't like her response. She said, just don't look at it. I hear you, Commissioner. I hear you. I'm not going to look at it either. But I mean, for me, and this is just me as an influencer or whatever word you want to attribute to it, like when I post something about either one of the two, I got to get a flood of, especially Angel, I got to get a flood of negative comments. And again, it's like 2 or 3 in the morning and people are writing, this person sucks, I hate you, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, guy, like, relax, bro, relax. Mm-hmm. So I mean, that from that aspect, I didn't like that she didn't obviously just say, hey, we denounce any such following such as this. But the reason why is because she knows that they're paying. She knows that those people are paying in the building. So it's like what you said, bud. If it don't make money, it don't make sense. And Jordan, to your point, if the league were more profitable, then obviously she wouldn't be doing that. She would have a different stance. But because the league has been suffering from what they've been going through for the last 26 years, and then now they're finally making an upturn. I feel like she's just like, even her thinking, and you could see it from the league. All of it is just so they're behind. They're not being progressive as they need to be, just with what they're thinking. Like we're going to talk about Asia. It's like they're not realizing what they have in front of them versus trying to play into the past. And that's what our country is going through in a nutshell. That's it. I'll end it there.
Yeah, you
Tasha,
gotta care about your people. So I mean, like I understand that we get money in, but if the large majority of your players don't want to play for you, and they were to just leave, where are your players going to be at? You know what I'm saying? Like you got to consider that. The people have to come watch. Everybody's not going to. I mean, Indiana can't play by themselves. You know what I'm saying? If all the players sat out that felt offended, who's going to be out there? You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point.
Yep.
You got to consider that. I mean, I don't know if anybody's seen The Power of the Dream, a documentary on Amazon where they banded together, black, white, anybody in the league to stand for one thing. And there's nothing stopping them from doing that again. So if they want to just come see one person, they might just see one person bouncing the ball on the court because there's nothing stopping them from doing that. So she has to think about those things, like it's repercussions for your actions. And yeah, you want to make money, but if there's nobody there to play, those investors are not going to want to be there. So,
and like I keep saying, Kaylin is the god. I call her grandma, godmom, like fairy godmother. Like she's the godmother of this right now, right? Like she's the one that everybody's watching right now because she's the trailblazer. But that's not going to be in 5 years, 3 years, 10 years, 15 years. You're going to have a black candidate, black athlete that's running into the forefront of the W, and she will be the face. And it's like, okay, if you look back at this history, she's not going to want to, that person is not going to want to rock with the commissioner. So, I mean, that's if she'll be there in 15 years. Most of them aren't there.
She might not be here by the end of the
year. Right. So that's why I wouldn't.
It's a little hot for Kathy out right now.
I wouldn't put too much stock into it. Hopefully I'll see her at All-Star, and I'll ask her myself about these types of things and just stuff like that in general. But obviously it was unfortunate. And then the WNBA PA put out a statement saying we denounce this, and there shouldn't be any type of racist statements. But yeah, that whole situation is just insane. And no commissioner would say that, Jordan, except for tag me, maybe. And Tasha, I'll let you go.
Thank you. Can you go ahead and mute?
Oh yeah, sorry.
So we need to hear it. We need to hear it.
Yeah.
Oh, Tosh.
Hello, everybody. If you missed my last point, or if you missed, can you guys hear me now? Is it more fluid?
Oh, we got you.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. If you missed my last all-part session, let me just repeat it. I think it shows two things. One, it shows inexperience with the fullness of what the job entails, right? It shows that she is either naive or she doesn't care. And that's both of those are problematic, right? Because to be the leader, your job is to be in the know, and to let it roll off her tongue so loosely, it just sends a different message. And oddly enough, I reached out to the WNBA today to ask for an interview from her and Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston, because Aaliyah Boston is right here in Indiana, and because I work for the Black newspaper here, so in writing stories for the Black newspaper here, I thought it would be a great idea to have a full conversation about it. I'm still waiting on their response and whether or not she would do it or not. But I definitely feel like it shows her lack of diversity within her inner circle, that she has people surrounding her who looks just like her, who thinks just like her, and even and maybe the experiences are the same. And so even if you don't have a person who is diverse in the thought process of color and or gender, you should have somebody diverse in the thought process of what it is that they bring to the table. And I don't even think that maybe they have that. It lends to that thought process that everybody surrounding her is either yes people and or people who are just like her. And there needs to be some more diversity in that thought process surrounding her, surrounding what it is that is important to the whole and not just the piece. And so it really shows you how naive, like I said before, how she is in regards to this approach to actually being on top. So even when you are on top, human capital is the most important capital in this business. She has to have human capital. That's what JBoog was just talking about. She has to have human capital to even, participate. And without the human capital, she is going to be problematic. And so just focusing on one talent is problematic, and that we can see these problems throughout. And I don't think that Caitlin is doing a good job of, like I said before, when she referenced Magic and Bird. But during that time period, Bird was the person who extended the hand to Magic to say, I know you're experiencing this racist issues. I know that these racists are coming out the woodworks in regards to who you are and your talent, but I am not like that. My people are not like that. So let me introduce you to who I am and to my people. And we have yet to see that from Caitlin Clark. I also believe, go ahead. I also believe that Caitlin Clark is not doing any favors by to the league, to herself, or anybody else by now hiring protection, or what looks like to be protection, or I think it's a lot of things that needs to happen, and I think that they need some DEI training. I think they need some diversity, equity, inclusion, and access training, right? Like they need some inclusion training, and they need to know that. And I don't leave that on the burden of the Black women who are in the league, because they know what it's like to be inclusive. I lead it to the people who don't know what it's like to be inclusive, who don't have to admit, who don't have to compromise or change. I lead it to those persons who feel like the silver spoon has been in their mouth the entire time, because everybody knows that what it feels like, or they don't want to experience what it feels like. So either you know what it feels like because you have been on this side of the line, or you know that you don't want to trade places with somebody on this side of the line. And since you know both of those, right? And I think that needs to be I think that the W needs to do a better job of including diversity, equity, and inclusion training for persons who need it. And I'm a quote Toni Morrison right here, who said, race is a white people's problem, and they need to figure out what to do about it.
Mm-hmm.
Speak on it. I just want to say one quick thing before we end it or whatever. When she said, just don't look at it, I don't think people really realize that there's people out here that don't understand that the internet is the internet and reality is reality. Angel said not too long ago that she's the one that's been harassed the most when we talk about this whole thing since 2022, since she got that natty. She said people found out where she lived. People have followed her home. People have shown up at her home. She gets all kind of people have made AI pictures, sent it to her family. Like that's beyond basketball. So the human factor, if you know, or you should know what your players are going through. We can't, not me, but it's not easy. It's not just shut off your phone and you won't see it. Somebody's standing outside your door. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's trying to figure out where you live. Someone's following you because they know what your car is. It goes a little bit beyond that. So I just think, like DJ said, it was tone deaf. It didn't, it just didn't make sense. And I was just like, I didn't expect her to be prolific, but it was just you know, I guess it's so much disappointed. I can't be any more disappointed than I already am. Like
It's like it reminds me of when stand proud, and stand by. That's what I think about. What are you gonna say, Jordan?
Do you
Stand down and stand by. Yeah,
Is
the
it what you
Proud
said,
Boys.
stand down? Yeah.
Yeah, stand down and stand by the Proud Boys.
can
Yes.
the commissioner herself sit in the sensitivity training? Like, can she be in there herself?
She needs
Yeah,
to be in the front row.
she has to like the leadership has to take the role to first of all, I think they need an audit. You know, they need to audit the actual league because they don't know where they're missing it, right? If for her to come out with this type of statement and to have people who work next to her and by her and then say this, she know she went over those notes because they fetched to find that what's been happening. You know, they continue to drive that narrative of Bird and Magic. So I just feel like the people around her and everybody else in the leadership role, they have to do it first because it has to be top down. The top down.
I just like when you listen to this and you stand back and you just like watch it happen. Like, why would you make these comments on CNBC? Like national, like this is not like the Indianapolis Star or whatever. It's like, bro, you're on CNBC.
Watch yourself.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. I mean, I don't know where like anybody's from, but
You mean like a local paper?
Like, why would you make the on
Yeah.
and then
I'm from Indianapolis.
And then I'm sorry. Do you even know who your players and what they think? Like, how can you make comments that are so far off from what all of your players think? When has Adam Silver ever said anything that LeBron didn't already agree with, or Steph already agree? Like, everybody comes out in arms every time, and everyone's always in agreement. And like fast forward 2-3 months, like the Las Vegas Aces win the championship, and Asia Wilson refuses to accept the trophy from Kathy Engelbert for these comments. Like, can you imagine what because that might happen? That if this was the NBA, don't you feel like the male players would be like,
Yes.
don't even touch me, like leave me alone,
Absolutely.
you know, like
Absolutely.
like you don't support me, you don't want to protect me.
For sure.
I mean, can't you see that happening a couple months from now?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I can see that happening at any moment from now. The only thing I guess I'll push back a little bit. I don't know if she means that they're Magic and Bird, meaning like a talent, et cetera, but like you got two generational players, like you said, one is black, one's white. They both play different positions. They both have different totally different fan bases. So like from that part of aspect, I get it. Like I understand that part. So and it's like, and they're gonna help the league usher into what the NBA did back in the 70s and 80s. So like I don't that part I am all for it, but like everything else I'm not all for it. So all right, let's move on. Yeah, I'll let you go.
Thank you. Please, can you turn off? Thank you. I think bringing up the rivalry would been justified if we were not talking about racism. The question posed to her was not about rivalry. Rivalry is not acts that could cause harm to any of your investments, right? Like any of the players that you have insured, your company has insured. Like what the question asked her was, how are you going to make sure that everybody in this league is going to be protected and safe? And she failed at that. That it was an absolute fail at that. And to bring up anybody else without saying the steps or the measures that were taken by these athletes to improve race relations was unacceptable, right? It was unacceptable. If she wanted to bring up Magic and Bird, she should have brought up how they extended a hand to one another to subdue race relations during that time, and she missed that opportunity. And for these players to tell you that I feel unsafe now, and that you are okay with pushing rivalry before you push my protection or my safety is a problem. And
yeah,
No, it's true. I mean, Stewie commented on it. Every player commented on it
Yeah.
these last couple of days.
I mean,
I
they
think-
said they're a sisterhood, you know, like they really are protective of their
Each other.
league and the people that's been there. So any kind of outside interference, you know, I think
except for
they
De'Erica
can-
Hamby, except for Hamby, I don't hear not enough people talking about Hamby.
Well, I
And
think
enough
that's a
people-
different situation.
A lot of them,
because
a lot
there's
of them been
an active lawsuit
blackballing
going
her. A lot of them been blackballing her instead of riding with Hamby. I hear you. I hear everything you're saying, but it's like we need to also. I hope that these same women get behind De'Erica. I really do.
You don't know that. I mean, they might.
I'm not saying that they not.
On the internet.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they not.
Mess.
But I'm with you 100% on everything that y'all are saying. In addition to, make sure that y'all stand behind De'Erica too with this, because she is also. The W is just, again, it's just their thinking is just back. It's just so far back. You could just see it in every instance. Like, and we're going to talk about the fact that Asia wasn't publicized.
I think
like
but-
it's just they're just behind.
I think they're just a small business just trying to make ends meet, and they don't really
Yes.
care how they
Yes.
look. And
Yes.
and unfortunately,
Yes.
like they just don't make enough money to care about social justice
Yes.
causes. And
Yes.
I mean, this is like a super like pessimistic take, but it's like, guys, we just need to like make next month's rent.
Make
Like,
some money.
like we need Caitlin Clark. Like, dude, we need more races to fill up our stadiums. Like, where are they?
Right.
Hurry up!
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I hope they're all
Hurry up.
ticket holders. Like, because
And then we
you know,
can
we
figure
make
it out. Yeah.
yeah, like that's the only way we're gonna make it. So, you know, like,
Oh,
like
let's get the non-racist of the Angel Reese game and the racist of the Clay. Yes.
I mean, if you ask Kathy Engelbert when she probably walked out of that interview, she's like, "I killed it." Like,
Right,
I said
I had the best date ever.
I said what I had to say.
said,
I got my
"I
point
ate
across, and I didn't lose anybody. You guys are still gonna come to the games, and
Right.
I don't know what everybody's gonna be talking about, but I did a good job. So
They're
I'm
gonna
gonna
talk about
speak.
how I was killing it.
Right.
Like she probably thinks like I killed it. Like I don't.
She got
What's everybody talking
virus
about?
that day. She went to lunch. She had her.
Brianna, who? I don't know any of you guys. What?
This Caitlin. Caitlin, yeah.
Okay.
Did that shit.
We didn't mean to drag that out. What's your next topic?
Yeah, let's go to the next topic.
The next
Fact or
topic is
fiction?
Oh,
Kathy. Just kidding.
Fact or fiction. Fact or fiction. Clark will do this again in her career. She was the first WNBA or NBA player to win this award 3 times. I'm gonna read that. She will do this again in her career. Fact or fiction. Obviously, she'll never be a rookie again, but meaning she'll win consecutive 3 times Player of the Week. Again, she'll do this again in her career. Obviously, she had a bad game against the Las
They
Vegas
love her,
Aces.
of course.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, that's fact. Yeah, I'm assuming it's fact.
it's a fact.
All right. Let me show y'all this. This was her shoes from the game the other night. I just wanted to show that. I thought they were dope. Like, fact or fiction, these are fire. I think that they're fire.
You want to show her eating lunch too, or I mean,
What? She had peanut butter. She had peanut butter jelly. She had peanut butter jelly.
Oh,
What
those
she
are
had
the
for dinner?
Kobe's. Yeah.
She had peanut butter jelly.
like she wears
Okay.
those Kobe PEs, right? That's what
Yeah.
she normally wears.
Yeah, that's her.
The
That's her.
the
That's her
Kobe's.
phrase. Yeah. All right.
Those are
Let's
nice. Those are nice.
All right. Fact or fiction?
Fact
Angel
or
Reese will make a.
fiction? Fact or fiction?
Go,
The
go, go.
Liberty are gonna go 34-6 and set the all-time record because
Wait.
they're still on track. They're
What's
still
their
on track,
record?
boys.
What's their record?
They're 30-6. They're gonna do it.
You have to win the last 4 games.
They probably will, truthfully, honestly, just because of that.
Honestly, yeah. Why
You said
not?
They were 30-6.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
30-6.
They won
And
4 in
you
a row.
said
They're gonna
they
do
were
it.
34-6.
Yes.
Yep.
That's a hot take from 2 months ago, but
Look
you know
at
we're bringing
you.
it back.
It is.
Ooh.
All right, Jabbar, go ahead.
I was gonna say, Angel Reese makes a good coach. Fact or fiction? Here she was coaching up Kennedy Carter last night. Obviously, Chicago suffered a bad loss to Washington at home, but I just love the fact that again, everybody talks about her impact or quote unquote lack thereof. It. I can't say it enough. Y'all saw what happened in Washington, or y'all saw what happened in Chicago. Here she is still on the sideline. She's coaching up her teammates. She is that type of player. Again, intangibles, tangibles. Like she has everything that you want to win with. And I love seeing this, but I was just gonna say fact or fiction. She make a great coach, and/or she's a very impactful player still to her teammates right now, even off the
Oh,
sideline.
fact.
That's little Moki right there. She got the little Moki squat down too. Like that's little Moki over there.
Well, she's awesome, bro. And like I saw that, I was like, oh, good for her, good for her. All right, and then this was Camilla, fact or fiction. Chicago's. I'm gonna leave this one for Boog. I'm not even gonna say fact or fiction. I just want to read this or just hear this what she had to say. We wasn't here today. This is not how we play it. This is on their 31-point loss.
Played the entire season.
Boog, you still feeling confident, fact or fiction, to get into the playoffs?
I mean, we still in it. We're the little engine that could. They have games they have to win, but we're still in it. And we're a game above both Atlanta and Washington, and we play Atlanta next week on the 15th, I think.
Man, that engine is sputtering, bro.
Probably going to be
I'm
the
telling you.
determining factor.
For the record, I'm saying y'all not getting in without Angel. Yeah, without Angel, y'all ain't getting in. That was my
we're still in it now, so we'll see.
Man, you got that check engine light. That thing is I
don't give up on my teams. I don't give up on my team, so I'll be there till the last game.
Man, I don't know, man. This engine is I don't know.
I'll say this.
Okay.
I'll say this though. I would rather be the one in the catbird seat than being the pursuer at this point.
No,
even if that means I'm playing Minnesota, Phoenix, Atlanta, and Connecticut these next 4 games.
That's a tough schedule.
It's super
That's
tough.
a tough schedule.
Super tough.
I wouldn't want to have that. I would not want to have that. That's tough. That's like 3.
Let's
that's
pick,
like
yeah.
I would not want
look
that.
up.
I wouldn't want that. That's you talking about 3 playoff teams and then a team that I wouldn't want that.
3 playoff.
Washington has it pretty tough too.
Oh man.
Washington has it tough too. They got Atlanta twice. They have New York next Tuesday, and Indiana next Thursday. They're not going to play. Liberty are not going to lay down though.
That's not tough. They got. If they play it, all they got to do is beat Atlanta twice.
Atlanta got New York, and Washington is not a punk. Obviously, we see what they beat New York. So I mean, Atlanta don't have an easy road to it either. So we'll just see. We'll see.
They really needed that win against Washington.
Yeah. Well, they have 2 more times they play Washington, which is crazy.
That's funny. That's what I was getting ready to bring up next.
Oh.
Aaliyah Edwards, is she gonna have a stat line? Okay, we're gonna switch to over and under. Over under Aaliyah Edwards going for 15 and 10 in her next game. I do not know who they play. Somebody has to look that up for us, please. I think
I'm doing that right now.
Yeah.
Oh, over. I'm taking the over. Over. I'm taking the over. What do you think? I don't care if they got Tina Charles. I'm taking the over. I'm taking the over. I'm taking the over.
I'll go under, but not because I don't like her. It's just Atlanta's got to play tough too.
It depends because Washington is streaky too. I mean, Aaliyah plays exceptionally well against Chicago, even when we have all of our players, whether they win or lose. I think she loves the challenge of playing against Angel, like since they didn't know each other like that in college, but I think they like playing their college people because it's a little bit more familiar than what the vets are. So she plays really well against Chicago.
That's big facts.
I'm going to say, let me see what she got last time. Oh, she didn't even play because she hurt her back. She didn't play them last time. 15. I'm going to say under.
Yeah, me too.
I hear that Frankie Beverly. Rest in peace.
Yep.
All right, how about this one? Rakia Jackson, who had a 20-piece. She had a 20-piece game against the Seattle Storm. 22 points. Do you feel like she's going to go over or under? And I want to read some stats by Rakia. I want to read some stats. She's been having an amazing
season.
Rakia. 14 points shy of making history is the second Los Angeles Sparks rookie alongside Candace Parker to have 500 points in a single season. Remember, she did not start the beginning of the season. She would have destroyed this record. To reach this milestone, she'll need to average 4.3 points a game, which she'll do over the next course of her games. Lastly, WNBA rookies with multiple 20-point games shooting 50% or better against 500 teams. That's a very specialized stat. Angel Reese, Rakia Jackson, one of the most efficient, if not the most efficient scorer in the class. Do you feel like over or under she'll go over 22 points in her next game against? I'll tell you right now.
It's a Seattle Storm.
It is. Yeah, that's what I thought.
It's a home and home.
Yes.
I don't think it matters because they don't. I mean, they're not winning games. She could still score and they not win. So I don't think it
Right,
matters who she
right.
plays against. So
Yeah.
I'm saying
Over.
she's going over.
Over.
I don't care who she played against.
No,
Over.
I'm
Right.
saying
Over.
it's not like you're saying she's
True.
going to go off and they win
Black
the game. I mean,
excellence,
they
bro.
just they haven't really
That's
been
true.
winning. But Rakia's still getting hers. She's still
awesome.
in the fight. So yeah, I'm not gonna doubt Rakia at all.
She's good.
That's all right. Let me ask y'all this. So now I guess we're gonna get to our debates now. So question: does Asia Wilson's scoring record make her the greatest WNBA player of all time?
Presently, yes. I think so.
Really?
Time?
I think,
All-time?
yeah, I mean, yeah, I
Oh.
think you have to say that she is because she's just such a, she's one of those players I feel like if she had better marketing, we would be talking more about her and other platforms would, because her career speaks for itself. The contributions she does on and off the court are just incredible. It's unparalleled what she does. And she's one of those few players who can get off the court and appear on Stephen Colbert's show, which you can't say for a lot of the other players in the league. So, I mean, if someone like me, who may have not watched the W, watched her appearance earlier this year to promote her book, I mean, that just says to me that she could be a great player, not with what she does with her skills, but what she does off the court too. So, yeah, I mean, why not? She's so determined all the time. I love the fact she's got this white t-shirt phase right now. She's all about work. And then that, to me, makes her great. I think she is going to be the greatest of all time, at least right now.
I think.
So you right? Go. I'll let you go.
I agree with. I'm gonna be like Tasha. Can you mute your mic?
Yeah, go ahead and mute yourself.
I think I'm messing with him all show. I think that I agree with Becky that Asia will be the GOAT of all GOATs before it's said and done. By the end of her career, she will be the GOAT of all GOATs. I mean, obviously, she's my favorite player. I think she's great. Her numbers say she's the best to ever do it because no one's ever done that. But I still think Asia can be better. Like, as crazy as it seems, she can get better than what she's doing right now. This is just like, not even, I wouldn't say scratching the surface, but she's at this level. She has so much more to go. And like Reau was saying, she's determined. She works hard. She works on her craft. And it's too many people out here doubting her for me. Like, I need her to be the undisputed best to ever do it where nobody can say anything. Because too many people have come to me personally telling me how she's not worthy of what she's getting. She doesn't deserve to be marketed. What is she doing that's so great that, nobody ever wants to watch her? Like, no. When it's all said and done, when she gets to that point where you can't deny it, that's when I'll say she was the best to ever do it. I mean, I believe Asia wouldn't say she's the best. Like, as fans, yes, but I think she's not satisfied, and that's what I love most about her. Like, it's going to be, I didn't even think she can do, not that she couldn't do it, but I never imagined watching her play these last few years that she would do what she's doing this year. I thought she was great last year. I'm like, oh man, Asia's great. 53 points in a game. Like it was nothing. And then she comes this season and does like 4 30-point games right in a row. just like nothing ever happened. And she doesn't go overseas to play. She has her own, whatever she does overseas. She doesn't let people, whatever she does in the off season, she doesn't let people know what it is, but she comes conditioned. I don't know if y'all have seen her. I mean, I ain't like I'm looking at her body like whatever, but that girl is cut. You know what I'm saying? Like she's put on muscle. Looks like she's toned down. She's quicker. She's got a three shot now that's consistent and is not even there yet. Like she still has more, room to grow on that.
Yeah.
I could talk about Asia all day. Like that, she's amazing now, but the fact that she can get better is what's scary.
She writes books.
She writes books.
As shown behind JBoog.
Yes.
I'm gonna get that book.
Dear Black Girls.
I'll get that book.
It's a great read.
Is she the GOAT? I mean, she's not my GOAT, but she's pretty close, I don't know. I still think Cynthia Cooper is the GOAT, but that's a little biased, and 4 in 4 years, like that's kind of hard to beat. But yeah, I mean, she's definitely the best player I've seen in a long, long time, man. And her impact is crazy, and she's adding stuff to her game. She hit like 4 18-foot jump shots that were the first 8 points for the Aces last night. Like that's the only they went from 0 to 8 on 4 18-foot jump shots, and she creates all her own offense. No one's helping her score any points. Like everything is like, I mean, I'd love to look up how many of her field goals
Unassisted shots
are assisted or unassisted, because I feel like most of them are unassisted. You know, she's either cleaning up the rim, or like she's cleaning up the glass, putting it back. She's just like kind of finding her own, 15 to 20-foot jump shot. I feel like very few people create for her, which enhances her greatness to me. And that's just the offense. The defense is just, oh my god, it's unbelievable. She's just a vacuum. She just put Aaliyah Boston, in the chokey like Matilda, and just threw away the key. And bro, it was done. It was done.
So I'm gonna lean to yes. I'm gonna go with Rob's point. I wasn't there yet. But everything that everybody's describing sounds like something that nobody can guard. Yeah. I was leaning towards no before everybody, before you and before Boog and Jordan spoke. I would have said no. But after hearing both of you, it's like, yeah, because it's like, what more do you want? Is it the rings? Do you want her to just win 3 more rings, like to say that she's better than Maya?
Yes.
I don't need that. I don't need that right now. Truthfully, I don't. She got more deep. She got more deep boys. I do too. I think she was. I think Jordan. Did we talk about that? Where I felt like okay. I feel like Asia's getting ready to be at the point where everybody's talking about Kaylin, and she's so good. She's gonna say, okay, let me win more and shut everybody the hell up. And she's gonna win so much more that it's gonna be like, damn, can Asia just retire so we can win? Or damn, can Asia just stop playing so we can win? Because like she said it, she's like, oh, she don't feel like she's won enough because enough people aren't talking about her. And I'm like, so how many more do you really feel like you need to win? You she's about to get a 3rd. So it's like, yeah, I think she's gonna get 6, truthfully. And I don't need her to get 6. I don't even need her to get another one. If she just gets an MVP and a decoy this year, like I think she's gonna do, I'm not gonna say she surpassed Maya, but she's like right there with her, Jordan. She ain't that far behind. And again with Coop playing with Swoops, Coop playing with Tina Thompson. And I love Coop, but then again, Asia has 4 Olympians. So that I'm not going to
playing that great right now.
Everybody's on a super team.
I'm not giving them a pass.
Everybody's on a super team.
I'm not giving them a pass. They Olympians. They playing great or not. They Olympians.
So are the Phoenix Suns. I mean, the Phoenix Mercury, and
Mercury,
not doing great either. So.
They're slumping.
They need to, because from what, where's Corey at? Let me yell at Corey. From what y'all were telling me over the last 2 months, 3 months, that everybody on the United States Olympic team deserved to be there, and they're the most talented, and et cetera.
You're doing it. We said we wouldn't do this.
It is over. It is done. You can't go back. It's okay.
It's almost fall.
Nah, man. We gotta wait 4 years. We gotta wait 4 years. We gotta wait 4 years to watch greatness on the Olympic stage. Yeah, I'm frustrated about that.
I can't hear that
Still,
for another 3 years.
Nope.
And
let it go.
Bro, just hold it in. Just hold it in.
Yeah, because
we'll just hold it in.
Interest coming up.
4 more years, 300 more episodes.
Right.
Just don't say anything.
She scores episode 1000.
Right.
I told you, Negroes, 3 years ago. 3 years ago, I told you, Negroes. But I told you. All right. We got Fever, Mystics, Sky, Lakes, Dream, Liberty. Who you want to talk about? I'll let that for y'all.
Who we want to talk about?
Yeah, what team?
Pick a team. I got a question. Pick a team.
Mystics.
Dude, is there dominance over the Sky? Does it mean that they're truly in contention for a playoff spot? Or does it just reflect that Chicago was struggling that night?
A little bit of
I
both.
think a little bit. Yeah, I was gonna say a little bit of both, honestly, because obviously Washington, they're a streaky team, as Boog said earlier. But I've covered basically 4 of their games when they play Dallas, and I know how dangerous this team can be when they're on it. And It's not even just their starting five. I said it in the previous show. Their bench is just lights out good because Jade Melbourne could have an amazing evening. Emily Engsler, who I talked about in the last show, is team wants to put on their roster next year when she's an unrestricted free agent. And don't forget Stephanie Dolson. She's a great 3-point threat. Which is, when you have to give the ball to her, anything can go and get points. So I think I'm not trying to diss on the Sky because they're definitely trying. They're having some struggles, but I think it was more of a showcase about the Mystics' dominance, which I know they have been dominant on my team on the Wings. So and they can do that.
You got them in the playoffs, Rob?
It's gonna be tough. Like I said earlier, I think the Sky being in the catbird seat, I would rather be that. But in terms of momentum, I can't ignore Washington. So I'm not trying to be the contrarian. I'm gonna say yes, they're gonna get to the playoffs. I'm sorry, Boog, but I think the Mystics just might have enough. But hey, you just never know. I mean, they're only one game behind. A loss from any of these teams could just shake things up. So I like the momentum, but I'd rather be in Chicago's seat right now.
I mean, I don't mind that. I mean, everybody, like you said, is tight. Atlanta, Washington, Chicago. Anybody can get that spot. And Chicago is literally running on fumes. Like, we had another player out last game. So it's like, we're trying. That's why I call us a little engine that could. We're trying. And if we make it, that's going to be like the miracle that.
But do you want to make it like that? Do you want to make the playoffs like that? Limping into the playoffs with half your team now?
Well, I think Diamond will be okay. She just sat out because just a sprained ankle, I believe. But I want what the team wants. The team wanted. They didn't with what they were given in the beginning, saying that they would be 12th and they would never be anything more than that. The fact that they got as high as almost 6, I think they teetered on 6. They were at 7. They pretty much stayed at 8. They beat, like I said, New York. They beat Seattle. They beat Aces. Those are some of the top teams. Up until after the break, they hadn't been blown out by any team, whoever they played. So they have a lot to hang their hat on. And I think once they realize they had a shot at going to the playoffs, that's been their goal. So if that's what their goal is, to try to get into the playoffs, then I'm right with them. So,
I got a better.
Well,
I got. Okay, Jordan, you go. Because I had a question for Brooke.
I mean, Chicago's just fading, man. They're just too beat up. If they had a whole roster, if everyone was healthy, if Reese was still here, probably be them. But Washington's on fire, and I mean, I don't know. I feel like whoever gets this spot is just gonna be the first two.
Fodder.
Bro, they're gonna be the first two starships on Duelist Kingdom for the New York Liberty. There's gonna come and just boot them off the island. There's gonna be 2 starships in the glove, and then it's gonna be gone. So,
if Angel's not playing, if Angel were playing, I would pick the Sky to at least win one game. Without Angel, no.
Yeah.
I mean, Chicago barely made it last year, and then they got swept by the Aces because they were the number 8 seed last year, and they had to go up against them.
Let me ask you this: do you think Washington should just pack it up and try and get Paige? Because before I say that, let me say this: I was like, so Paige yesterday, Paige Bueckers. If I can find this down, I'll find it for y'all. And here comes the crazy sound. But she was saying that they asked her, is the East Coast better or the West Coast better? And then she said neither. And she said the number 1 coast is the Midwest. And then I was like, if I'm Teresa Weatherspoon, if I'm the GM of Chicago, what? I'm moving heaven and earth.
I thought you were in Indiana.
Is Chicago not in the Midwest? I'm from Miami. Is Chicago not in the Midwest?
It is, but that's why I thought.
Yeah. No.
You were going to be leaning towards.
No, if I'm Chicago and I heard her say Midwest is the best, I'm doing everything I can to put her in my building. And I'm like, oh, she would look great in the Chicago Sky jersey. And I started thinking about it. You have her at point. You got Kennedy at the 2. You got Michaela at the 3. You got Angel and Camila still. And then they can switch defensively. Paige could guard the 2 or the other opposing 3. And Kennedy, like, that would work on so many levels. And as soon as I heard her say that, I said, damn, is she thinking about... And then think about it. It's like, okay, it's also Chicago's getting a new facility, and it's in a major market. So I was like, it's something to think about. I wanted to hear what y'all think. But if I'm in Chicago, we get paid, bro. I'm taking her. Like, we get paid.
Whoever doesn't make the playoffs has at least a 10% chance to get Paige, up to an 18% chance to get Paige. So. I mean,
but then the question is if you don't, and the question is if you don't get paid, who are you getting on your team? Because that's tough. That's tough. Because this is a question.
Get Olivia Miles or Raven Johnson. I would love them to get Raven.
Raven Johnson, but you're gonna have two. You're gonna have 2 guards that are kind of miniature in their backcourt with Kennedy and Raven.
Okay.
I don't like that. I don't like that. Defensively, I don't. Defensively, she can play, bro. That's gonna be.
She can pass to the big. She knows those particular bigs who are going to be the franchise players in the face of that team. So,
and I like Raven Johnson. I like Raven Johnson's game.
Start. We need a vet. Because the team has the ground.
I wouldn't draft somebody that's not going to start. I got to draft somebody.
No, I don't. We don't need no more rookies starting. We're good. We have enough youth. We need some vets, and I think Raven would be great to learn behind a seasoned vet, and she can come off the bench and give them a spark. And she might end up starting later in the year or next year.
If you get the number 1 pick, like if you get a draft pick, can you trade it?
Yeah, I would trade it. If you could, get a superstar.
Have they done
that? I don't know. I don't think they have in the W. They haven't done that yet.
If you had the number 1,
I don't think they've done it.
If you had the number 1 pick in the WNBA draft for 2025, what would that fetch on the open market? Would you trade Enrique for the number 1 pick in the 2025 draft?
Would Dallas trade her? If you're saying no, the question. If you're saying no, the question is why not? The question is why not? It's not. This is what I'm saying about the antiquated thinking. The question is why not? Why not?
Well, I don't think it's antiquated thinking because I like the upside of Paige, but she's also injury prone as well, so that's something to consider. We got a buddy waving in the background. What's up, bro?
What's up, Corey? What if it was Clark? I mean, same thing. What if it was Clark? Would you trade Clark for Asia? It's the same thing.
Yeah, right.
I'm not saying would you trade her. What I'm saying is what would it fetch? You know what I'm saying? It's like, could you command a superstar for a number 1 pick? And the question is, I would take that trade because you don't. There's no for sure thing that tells you Paige is going to be the next great whatever. Right. So it's like, and if you can get a proven commodity of Breonna Stewart or whomever, it just depends on who the player is. It depends on who the player is. That was a good question though, Jordan. If you had a pick, would you trade it to I guess get a superstar?
I guess the reason why I'm asking is because the Lakers, not the Lakers, the Sparks are like a couple of pieces away. Where like if you get this, you get that. Like that might be more like
beneficial
more success, than just getting paid.
That's a fair question to bring up. But to the Enrique thing, Dallas got to explore all options. This one right here to my left, talking about why wouldn't you draft Angel Reese? I'll put the camera on him. Why would you draft Angel Reese? I said, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you draft Angel Reese to the Dallas Wings? Huh?
Yeah, let's go hear his point.
Oh, okay. He said he didn't disagree. He said you gonna get rid of Tosh? You gonna get rid of Tosh for Angel? That's
Tasha Howard for Angel? I actually wouldn't disagree with that one. I like Tasha Howard, multi-time WNBA champion, but there's a lot more upside and all with Angel's potential. Her ceiling's pretty high. Not that I'm.
We starting to use. I'll let you go, bro.
You're probably only have 5 more minutes left of useful time because it's gonna get really loud with the intro. So
I'm gonna head out pretty soon too.
We probably should get wrapping up. Not that I don't. Not that I'm being a producer.
We're all producers.
No, you're fine. You're good. Yeah, we're all literally and figuratively. All right. I guess fine. We could wrap up then. Let's go with closing thoughts then. What closing thoughts I got for today? But thank you for everybody. By the way.
My closing thoughts are: you've got a great Thursday night matchup, WNBA fans. Even though the Liberty are just one more, but their magic number I think it was 2 or 1 to get the #1 seed. Like Sabrina Ionescu said, they're going to treat these last 4 games as practice to be really, really good. So I think, I think the hot take is we've got a really great game tonight. So WNBA fans, you better tune in because this is going to be 2 prolific offensive teams that are going to go at it. And I feel like just like we saw last month, this second game is going to be a little bit closer because looking upon the stats, the Dallas Wings did their best to keep up, but I think their defense was a big struggle against the New York Liberty, who pretty much contained their lanes, especially in the first quarter, because after that, the Wings kept a good fight. Although, honestly, I anticipate the Liberty are going to win tonight's game. But tune into this game, folks, because you're going to see some great basketball, not only from Dallas, but the New York Liberty. You'll see why they're the #1 seed overall, and I honestly think they could be the ones representing the East. So I'm looking forward to it. In about 20 minutes. It's going to be good on Prime Video, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're starting right now.
My final thoughts are, y'all know me. It's always go Sky, go Aces over here. Whether my babies, the Chicago Sky, make it in with crutches or a scooter, whatever, if they make it in, I'm still proud of them. I'm still, happy that, they were able to play. I'm very super sad. Y'all know I didn't make the show when y'all talked about Angel. You had to know I crashed out pretty hard when I found out about about the injury. But I still support Camilla. I would say the Chicago Sky fans don't give up on the people that's still playing. They're still, have their heart and soul out there. And I think the playoffs is going to be crazy. So those people that are not normally watching the W and haven't really been paying attention, like now is the time to really tune in. It's about to get spicy. Like these last few games, people are battling for playoff spots, and maybe the first round may not be too unpredictable, but I mean it's gonna get nice, and we get to watch the best player in the world play. So I mean I'm excited.
Do it up, folks.
My closing.
I'll let you go, Jordan.
My closing thoughts is last night the Aces made the Fever look pretty bad and pretty small, and they dominated them a lot. And tomorrow night they get to do it again. Aces versus Fever in Indiana again on Friday the 13th. So we might see another horror show tomorrow night too. So keep it right here. We'll recap it for you on Saturday on World Sports Media.
And you've got the Asia Wilson white T-shirt going on, Jordan. Look at that. You are basically Asia Wilson.
You wore the white tee.
Yeah, you're all business today. I see.
In support of Asia.
There you go.
We support winners in this house.
That's right. And me and DJ are wearing like the olive green for the Wings. Yeah, maybe.
Too bad. I guess my take is don't sleep. Every time, Greg, I guess.
It's Camilla.
I'm gonna get these. All right, my hot take, I guess, is the New York Liberty are not a team that you want to reckon with. Jordan, so from before, I would never say that the Liberty will win anything. I think that they're honestly on a crash course to beat Las Vegas again for another chip. Actually, the better question is, I think they're going to see each other in the second round in this one. So, but I think the Liberty, they're playing better than they did last year. And like to Brooke's point, you got 4 Olympians or 3 Olympians that's not playing like it. But they do. The Liberty got 2 of them that are playing like it. And Sabrina's playing amazing. Gianna's playing amazing. Jordan about to hit the single season record. And it would be a travesty if they don't get the win. Like if they have the best team in the league, if they don't have a ring this year, it would be a travesty. So I'm definitely gonna rock with the. That's not my pick. That's not my pick. My pick is Minnesota still. But I would say don't sleep on the Liberty. That's all I'm saying. Don't sleep on the Liberty. That being said, I guess
It's game time. Let's go.
Yeah, it's game time, y'all.
Episode 27, 28. I don't know. I'll count. Deuces, y'all. Appreciate everybody.
Peace.